Are we live? Yeah, it looks like we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Marty,
Yeah,
welcome, and everybody, welcome here. I didn't realize that it was late. I was off grabbing myself a whiskey.
I've been waiting for Clyde to come on. Like, I need a beer, man. It's been one of those days. Plus, I'm looking outside right now, Clyde. We're in a snowstorm. Okay, there's a snowstorm. We just had a snow warning,
I couldn't.
and my furnace is kicking. Like it's. Welcome to. We paid too much carbon tax. I mean, that's it. We paid too much carbon tax.
that's why it's snowing. Because you're on it. We're on it. We paid enough carbon taxes. It's offset all of the carbon that's gonna totally. Right. Okay, yeah, Crowdy.
Yeah, I'm having a Sleeman's. I don't know what made Karen. My in-laws are visiting right now. My in-laws just landed back from Costa Rica, and I guess my father-in-law must like this because Karen went and bought these beers. And
that's the Honey Brown Sleeman's.
Yeah, but it's Sleeman's from Ontario, isn't it?
From Guelph, Ontario.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, let's see how it tastes.
See, what do you think?
Not bad.
Yeah, so Sleeman's company was saved by a Japanese company, not Suntory, which I'm going to get to in a second, but Sapporo actually saved the company a while back. And now that's where Sapporo is made. And they also produce Pabst Blue Ribbon for the American company. They're like the subsidiary that makes it or brews it in Canada, because Canada has some stupid laws where you can't just import stuff. You have to have somebody make it in Canada, and it makes it so supplies are limited for pretty much anything. I'm having some of this. This is Suntory Royal whiskey, and I got this a while back, and it was in storage, and we cracked it. We pulled it out and cracked it open, and I'll be having a bit of this with a chaser as well.
I can measure how long I've had a bottle by how much is in it. So a bottle with that much in it, I'd say, you say a while back, I'd say that's about a week old.
Well, yeah, we cracked it maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it depends on who's visiting, right? I mean, you ever done that? I've done that. Not proud of it, but sometimes you have somebody who visits, a couple of friends, and then you crack a bottle, and as you wake up in the morning, you go, "Whoa, where'd the bottle go?"
So I have a friend who actually lives really close to me, and he's Irish, and anyway,
we'll have to talk about that on the show today. The Irish protest.
Oh, the Irish, yeah. So he's Irish and Irish Canadian, and loves whiskey. And at one point I bought a bottle of whiskey. I think it was because we had a bet, but then we weren't going to meet up. So I was like, well, I'm going to drink it. And I called him that day. I said, I got a bag of ice and a bottle of whiskey. You want to come over? That bottle was gone at the end of the night. We both felt like terrible. So yeah, I've been.
I mean, for us, that's whiskey. I know we got a lot of ladies watching, right? A lot of women feel like that about a bottle of wine, right? Like once they open that bottle of wine, you don't put the cork back in. Ladies like to sit around and drink their wine.
And well, I'm not gonna let that happen with this one tonight. I gotta go pull wrenches again in the morning. It is a weekday, so we'll take it easy on that. But oh man, we got a lot to get into. So anyway, preamble. I'm gonna talk about what we're doing here. Marty and Clyde show. This happens every Wednesday, and well, we've been doing this for 4 years now. This has been going on for 4 years. Started off as a weekly, just a recorded thing that we would just put out there. And then it turned into a live show because, wow, there's so much immediate feedback. Marty, you kept talking about how the Twitter algorithm is the best because you can get, immediate feedback from people on Twitter. Well, nothing's more immediate than the chat in the chat room. So this is the fun part about Wednesdays. If you're joining us live, if you're watching this after the fact, which is awesome, that's fine. And that's great for everybody who does. But live's the way to do it. Live's the way to do it because on the second half of the show, in the first half, we're going to be just talking. The two of us will be just talking about a number of things. The second half of the show, we're going to be talking to you guys in the audience, in the chat. So come join us. It's predominantly on the YouTube chat, but there are people over on Rumble. We can see you. That's in the chat as well. You guys, it's really difficult to make it so you guys can see each other on the chats, but we can see all the comments from all the platforms, whether it's we're on X, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. So any one of those, get on in there, leave a comment, and we'll be able to chit chat with you guys. So that's how that works. So for the first hour, if it seems like, what is this? Is it even a live show? Yeah, it is. We're getting through the topics. Sometimes we don't even get through all the topics, but it's 50 minutes to an hour kind of thing. Anything else you want to add to that, Marty?
No, we're good.
So that's the plan. Typically, what I used to do is I would cut it up and I would just put that portion of the show onto the main channel as a video and take the live stream down. I've decided I'm going to keep the live streams up. People can see them in their entirety as much as they want to. We'll get some more extras for the people who are members of the channel. One of the things I'm looking forward to for extras for members is going to be the when I'm in Japan. I'm going to be going to Japan in a couple of weeks now, and I'm going to be trying to do as many videos as I possibly can. But talking about my trip is not typically something that I would do on the channel. So I think I might add some more videos just talking about Japan and things like that for people who are interested. But that'll be members only. So if you want to check that out, join in as a member, or if you're already a member, that's going to be an added little sweet spot for you guys. You'll be able to check that out and enjoy that stuff. So I'll be uploading stuff for that. As for the actual hour-long video, we're going to start uploading those onto the second channel. If you don't know about the second channel, just go hit the channel page for the YouTube channel, Clyde Do Something, and you'll find the link to the Do Something podcast. So you'll find all of Marty and I's clips over on that channel, and you'll be able to find the full-length chats every week on Thursday morning. I think we'll be able to publish them, or Thursday at some point in the early afternoon. So that being said, perfect. Why don't we just get into it? Marty, it's been another week, and we've got a new government. No, we don't.
Newish, I guess. No, same government, but they muscled an election or 3 by-elections and gave themselves what do you call it? A majority.
Majority government.
Yeah.
And I just
first time in Canada's history that a government a minority government turned into a majority government through floor crossings and other shenanigans. It's never happened before.
So I would say, and I think Elizabeth May, I hate to say that I agree with Elizabeth May, but she nailed it. The old wine mom over
speaking of wine,
Vancouver Island. She absolutely nailed it in this one clip, and I just gotta pop this up on the screen so everybody can see this. As soon as it pops up, add to the stage. Come on, there we go. This is I'm speechless at this.
I want to make a couple of obvious points first, as leader of the Green Party of Canada and someone who pays close attention to politics. I noticed that on April 29th, Scarborough Southwest and University Rosedale and Terrebonne were all Liberal seats. So I find it interesting that we now have a lot of coverage of the Liberals have swept in the by-elections and almost no commentary on why there were by-elections. Obviously, Terrebonne is the exception to every rule, being a Supreme Court decision that due to an Elections Canada egregious error, a voter's vote wasn't counted. But I don't think Bill Blair, the MP for Scarborough Southwest, campaigned in April to say, please elect me for a little while, nor did Chrystia Freeland say, I don't plan to stay. The by-elections have been created by the Prime Minister's internal decision-making with his cabinet about roles for high-profile people in safe Liberal ridings. I don't think we've seen the end of it. Certainly there are abundant rumors that the next high-profile, and I think much respected Liberal who is no longer in cabinet, Jonathan Wilkinson, may be headed for a diplomatic post, which will cause another by-election. By-elections are expensive, and they are difficult for voters when they've just had an election.
Okay, she goes on to repeat herself like she got into the Aquavelva, but she honestly, she made so much sense right there. It didn't change anything. It absolutely didn't change anything because the Liberals already had those seats. I mean, with the exception of Terrebonne, because well, I guess they had that, but it wasn't that somebody stepped down in that position. It was that the Supreme Court said, no, that vote was terrible. But they ended up siding with the Liberals nonetheless. The voters did in those elections. So those didn't change. What changed was the 5 people that walked across the aisle, 4 of them from the Conservative Party and 1 of them from the NDP, from none of it. And I mean, we don't know. We don't know what kind of payola that they got. We don't know if it was threats of going public about stuff. We'll never know. I don't think we'll ever know, because that's basically our secretive government at this point. It's wheeling and dealing, and it's not what the people decided. It's what they were able to pull around and turn around. And because they had the by-election, now they're celebrating the victory of a majority. But it was the floor crossings that did it.
100%. Even I watched the election results there on Monday, and even Rosemary Barton had a hard time. Like, she had a little panel, and somebody was going down the path of like, oh no, the majority is going to be achieved as a result of these by-elections, and Rosemary, weirdly, surprisingly, would have none of it. She actually said no, it's because of the floor crossings. I was honestly surprised. But yeah, we'll never know, right? I mean, boy, and whatever they did promise, like Marilyn Gladue is the most recent floor crosser, and then today, like, she was being paraded around, like it's almost like a ritual, like an embarrassment ritual. You know what I mean? Like, she had to be there to greet the 3 new people that got elected. Carney was putting her in the front row, doing she looked completely uncomfortable. So I'm like, when I see that, I'm thinking more that it's there was a form of blackmail or something dirty. I don't think it was her conscience suddenly making her want to cross the floor. But no.
What was speculated in one point was that she had mentioned that if you're on the Liberal side, your riding gets a bunch of funding.
Well, Melanie Joly said that you could find the clip of 2 days ago at the Liberal convention. Oh my God, we got to talk about the Liberal convention.
We will get to that.
Yeah, but Melanie Joly basically said it at the Liberal convention that if your MP is not a Liberal, don't expect any favors. I mean, I'm in Alberta. We're living that every day. Like, there's no money being spent in Alberta, and I don't blame them for doing it.
The question then is, why doesn't everybody just cross over and become a Liberal if that's the only way to get it? Like, why is there even parties?
I think there's people that would like that. I think the Liberals are, I mean, boy, some of the policies that the Liberals, actually, we got to talk about the Liberal. I didn't even have that on our list of little topics, right? We got to talk about the Liberal policy. Anyways, let's just finish real quick on. So
I want to talk about this because Andrew Coyne, I've criticized him a whole bunch over time because he's kind of like a what would you call it? A CBC Liberal or a CBC conservative? He kind of goes in as the conservative guy in their little punditry, but then doesn't really take the position. This was one time when he actually did, and I was like, wow, okay. Mark Nixon even saying shocking. Andrew Coyne actually nails it. Never thought I'd see the day. He's calling it exactly how it is. This entire thing stinks. And here's what he had to say.
Andrew, the fact is, as Catherine points out, that this majority was secured, let's be honest, primarily through the 5 floor crossers, and these 2 by-elections are sort of what clinched them, pushed them over the edge. Is there any question there, not around the actual legitimacy of the majority, but how that looks to Canadians, and whether there is any discomfort with the way this majority has come about, or is the Prime Minister simply too popular and so it doesn't really matter to voters?
I just want to put this out there because she frames it like we're not going to question the legitimacy of it.
But I mean, I haven't seen this clip, but this clip, it's exactly what I told you she was saying on the night of the election. So what I'm finding this interesting is play the rest of the clip, but let's talk afterwards. Why is Andrew and why are a few of them actually being proper? Like, this is proper reporting. This is factual. And it's unusual. So play the rest. I want to hear Andrew's answer.
I think it ought to be disquieting to people because we don't really know what their motives were. If it was just because they were afraid of losing their seats, that's venal, but it's understandable. But were they offered something? Were they offered jobs? We don't know. We had the other possible motive put forward by Marilyn Gladue, who said, Well, she noticed that government ridings tended to get more government spending than opposition ridings. Well, if that's the argument, then why should anybody be in the opposition? And we feed this, I think, we in the media, when we talk about, oh, these poor opposition members, they don't want to sit in opposition for 3 long years. Opposition members actually do useful work. They're holding the government to account. They're exposing government wrongdoing. They're making ministers answer for their portfolios. Government side MPs, their basic job, whichever party's in power, is just to wave things through. It's to be a voting machine. So let's not devalue
look
the
at
role and
Altia's
importance
face
of
on that
opposition
one.
MPs
He
in
didn't
our
like
system
it.
of government. And this sort of thing, beyond, of course, betraying the trust of the people who voted for these MPs to represent a particular party, it just calls into the whole system. It makes it to some degree of disrepute.
Well,
Okay,
before we get into our commentary on this, I want to give a little bit of credit to where credit's due. Vesper pulled this clip up from years ago of Andrew Coyne speaking on the idea of people, crossing the aisle and all of that. And this is one of the points that he had to say there.
Then the votes are counted, and what does the voter see? He sees a parliament that looks nothing like what the voters cast their ballots for, with the distribution of seats between the parties bearing no resemblance to the division of opinion in the country. He sees that the MP he elects has no real role or responsibility, but to stand up and sit down when he's told. He sees a parliament that collectively has very little ability to hold governments to account. He sees that all power effectively resides in the office of the Prime Minister. In recent years, he's seen parties and leaders not only go back on their word or abandon their long-held convictions, but break their own laws. He's seen MPs being offered government jobs to cross the floor, and governments refusing to acknowledge confidence votes, or proroguing Parliament rather than face one, or defying express orders of Parliament to surrender documents. And you ask, why doesn't he vote? Frankly, the only mystery in all this is why so many people still do.
That's really profound right there, because a lot of people are upset with this whole thing, and people are like, why do I even engage? Why would I even engage at this point? Because you're gonna decide it after the fact. And I want you to get into what you said before we even went live about everybody forgetting where Mark Carney even came from. Yeah, get into what you wanted to say there.
No, I mean, he's saying what you and I say all the time, or what people that are not in politics say all the time. He like our system's broken or whatever. I'm just finding it fascinating that that suddenly in the last, actually, let me step back. I mean, Rosemary Barton doesn't like Carney. I don't think she does. Like she really liked Trudeau. I don't think she likes Carney. Like there's been some weird interaction between Rosemary and Carney many, many times in the last year. So maybe she's a little bit on the fence and just being a little bit, whatever the word is. And Andrew, it might be in the same way too, right? They're not getting the same kinds of favors that they used to get from the Liberals. So Andrew goes back to doing what he does full time, which is being a critic. And he's a good critic, right? It's just that lately he was getting, in the last couple of years, he was getting a little too cozy and too nice to Trudeau. So maybe we're just seeing people back to what, media should be this. That's what the media should be, right? And so, but there's also a nefarious side of me that says maybe they're doing it for other reasons, right? I mean, maybe they know Carney won't be in for much longer, and Andrew's calculating his career and going like, you know what they all want, right? They want to be senators, they want to be something else down the road, and they're like, maybe I won't get it. I'm too young to be appointed by Trudeau or by Carney, so I got to start thinking about still being nice for the next. I don't know. I mean, but yeah.
What were you the next? He's going to be the prime minister. He's the prime minister. And like I said, you brought this up before we even went live about how people have forgotten entirely where Mark Carney came from. Yep. We went from Trudeau, everybody hated Trudeau, to everyone's in love with Carney. All of a sudden, where did that even come from? And it's crazy.
Yeah, well, my frustration lately is that Canadians have an extremely short memory. Like this week, I can't tell you how many people said, oh, it's perfectly democratic. Floor crossing is part of our institutions, right? I'm like, sure it is, but does it make it morally right? It's a different story. And then I like to remind people like of just how bad it's been. Like, yes, Carney, Trudeau prorogued Parliament. And then step down because of Freeland and others. And then Carney out of nowhere appears gets installed as leader of the Liberals. Remember,
they disqualified two front runners to get
absolutely
him in, right?
he got
Like,
rid
that
of his
happened.
enemies, chooses the seat that he wants, right? He's critical of Poilievre for having picked an easy seat or whatever. It was like Carney did the same thing, and then he gets chosen as leader of the Liberals and becomes the prime minister of our country without an election. So he became prime minister of our country without an election. Sure, then he had an election, and he's the leader of a minority government, and now, for all intents and purposes, he's using yours and I's money to entice people to cross the floor. Like, there's never been 5 people cross the floor in 5 months before, and to the point of creating it. It's
well, and because of that, we're looking at no election for the foreseeable future in Canada. It is guaranteed. And for all the people that were saying, no, there's going to be election coming soon, I present this clip. This is it. Mark Nixon saying, breaking, Mark Carney announces Canadians made it clear they want him to lead until 2029. No election.
Now that you secured a parliamentary majority, do you have the mandate you need to govern, or will you call in an election in response to those who suggest the majority is not legitimate?
Well, I'd refer to my earlier answer. We live in a parliamentary democracy. Canadians elect deputies. Deputies vote with their conscience.
Deputies.
And support the program that they see best for their constituents and for the country. We do have a parliamentary majority now, and that is the product in the last 24 hours of strong support, increasing support for those deputies, the Liberal candidates in those 3 ridings.
So not considering calling an election?
Not considering calling an election. Absolutely. I think very clearly Canadians want government to govern, to take action on immediate concerns such as today, which is what we're doing on affordability. And I would note that the first thing we're doing as a minority government is continuing to attack affordability challenges that we know Canadians are facing.
First thing we're doing as a minority government. He's still in that mindset, right? Like he even did a Freudian slip there, and then deputies. Oh God, like.
he missed the verbiage, but he nailed it in the fact that he's got no intention of giving up. Like he doesn't want the contest of power. He knows that there's a possibility that he could lose it or go back into another minority government. Because Pierre Poilievre's making a good scene for a good show for it, trying to redo what he should have done in the last election. But they're setting it up where there's not going to be an election. That's it. I mean, it's all just wasted time.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
But you're right, and Elizabeth May mentioned it. Like, he does still have close to a minority. I mean, he could end up with a minority really quickly. Again, one MP falls.
If more people resign.
An MP falls sick, somebody resigns, and he's going to have a couple of people. There's still 2 or 3 that are being considered for diplomatic roles or applying for diplomatic roles and could leave.
But Marty, don't forget, there's 9 others that they're negotiating with to actually cross the floor.
Did you hear that hot mic moment? There was an interview somewhere where, I mean, that seemed a little bit contrived, but it could be real.
It was a weird one. Yeah. So it was the from Edmonton. That guy. I didn't have it up here. I'll pull it up. Asking him to cross the floor. See if I got
what
it
he
right
said.
here.
I'm being poached or something like that, or
and the way he said it, it sounded like he was trying to impress the reporters, less than like actually give them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, have a listen to the clip.
Look at me, I'm important because I'm being poached by Carney, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, oh, do you want a story? I'll get you a story. Like, this is literally how he sounds.
You want to run a story on floor crossing?
Are you the next one?
That's him giggling.
They're trying to poach me.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
You're in a room of reporters.
Yeah. Is that a surprise?
They're asking you to move?
Is that to NDP or?
Yeah, that sounds a bit,
It's really weird. So like the guy, his name is Billy Morin. He's the I'll just pull up his profile so you can see who he is. Yeah, he's not even showing up anymore. Oh no. Oh yeah, he doesn't show anyway. So he's the conservative MP for part of Edmonton, and he's also a former chief of, I don't know. He had some like strong Eagle Man name or something like that, and that sounds to me like he probably could be bought off. I don't know.
Oh.
The other comments are going to be terrible. Their comments are going to be terrible. But yeah, I mean, so there is another 9 MPs that they're saying that they're in communication with that could end up on the other side. And if it goes that far, if even 5 more of the 9 move over, I mean, that's it. It's majority territory. Everything is getting passed through.
Now,
that's how it goes.
Now, remember last week we had a weird comment that you and I can't remember, somebody, one of the super chats, we were trying to dissect it and it didn't make sense. Now I know what that comment was. Somebody brought up a theory that maybe there's been a couple of floor crossers that are pretending to be liberals. So maybe Marilyn Gladu is taking one for the team, pretending to be a liberal for the next few months. And then when there's a critical confidence vote, she'll go surprised and be sick that day and not be there. So like, you know what I mean? So somebody brought up that theory. So that's what the question was last week that we got as one.
Or just vote against it. So they vote
against it, right? Surprise! I changed my mind, and then defeat the Liberals. I mean, it's an interesting theory, but in fact, at this point in Canadian politics, I don't put anything beyond the realm of possible because we've had just about every silliness imaginable, right? Like, God.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But then we said, right? We said last week that the Carney that we saw a week ago compared to the Carney we're going to see going forward now is a different Carney because he's got his majority.
And he's confident.
And then at the weekend AGM for the Liberals, we saw some of their weird policies that they're contemplating, man. Like the everybody, there was a sort of a weak applaud because they want to make social media accounts for kids under 16 like illegal.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know what that actually means, Marty?
Yeah. I know exactly what that means. Yeah.
So everyone's looking at it like, oh, well, that means that kids can't access social media. No, that means you have to use ID to access the internet. That's what that means. That's what that bill does. But they're framing it in a different way. It's like, just think of the children. It's always
and it gives them permission to set up as part of it they're going to set up another body similar to the CRTC to monitor. So it's just laying the foundation for more censorship, 100%. But but everybody applauded. Yeah, it's for the children. It's nice. No, it's not.
Oh, and guess what? It doesn't keep the kids off the internet. All it does is it gets rid of your anonymity if that's what you're looking for. And now, I'm not always a big fan of anonymity. Like, let's just be frank. When it comes to like Twitter, the public square, if you're some anon and you come barking at me, block. You know what I mean? I don't care. But I want to take real people in consideration. People who are going to put themselves out there and have a conversation. And if you're an anon, you better be damn polite about it because I don't have to listen to you. You don't have any skin in the game. Forget it. You're a throwaway at that point. And that's how I feel about that. But that's your choice to be anonymous, right? It's absolutely your choice. And you should have that choice. Absolutely. It's the same as having like a pseudonym when writing a book or publishing an op-ed or something like that. You should absolutely have the ability to do that. And the government shouldn't be able to take that away from you because what it does is it takes away some people's ability to write freely or, whatever, there are, things like whistleblowers, there are people that come forward to talk about, things that are happening behind the scenes in government, stuff like that. And it would eliminate that possibility of people being able to do that. That being said, it doesn't mean that if I don't have to take you seriously. And, putting your face to the name is definitely a better way to do things. But I don't think it should be up to the government in order to do that. But that's a ploy, and it's a ploy to stop people from being able to basically do this and out the government and stay within and have their anonymity so that they can keep digging right?
Well,
Because
and
once you come out about it and you tell what's happening, you can't get any more information. You'd be cut off.
Yeah, and there was also, I mean, it was an interesting proposal as a policy. It got approved. It's an interesting proposal, and I was surprised that they picked 16 because by picking 16, they kind of shot themselves in the foot on another policy of theirs that is near and dear, right? The Liberals are the weirdos that want to lower the voting age to 14. So it's like, okay, perfect. Now you're just contradicting yourself, right? So you don't want a kid to have access to the internet until they're 16. But you want to let them vote when they're 14, so that's kind of you're disconnected.
It's not contradictory for Liberals, though.
No,
We got to stop holding them up to the same standards that we hold ourselves up to, honestly, because they don't hold. See, the thing is, when Liberals,
they're experts at mental gymnastics, absolutely.
When Liberals come at you because you have principles and they use your principles against you, it doesn't mean that you can use those same principles against them. They don't have them.
Yeah.
That's the difference. What's the old expression? If it wasn't for double standards, they wouldn't have any at all. They wouldn't have any standards. So yeah, stop holding Liberals up to the standards that we hold ourselves up to, because they only use that as a cudgel to win against us, and the only goal for them is to win. And so yeah, they'll still probably propose lowering the age of voting to 14, because they'll say, well, we have them in our propaganda outlets in the public school system and all that. So we want them voting early.
A corollary to that is I often tell my colleagues and friends that we need to stop holding ourselves to that really high standard too. I mean, I'm not going to bring the Liberals on board, but I also think that we hold ourselves too high sometimes to our own detriment. You know what I mean? Like we go into elections and like, oh, we can't do that. That's immoral. Okay. We get crushed because the other side doesn't have the same moral standards, right? And I find that frustrating that we sacrifice ourselves in the name of our morality, and the other side is taking advantage of us.
Yeah, but then the argument comes in, well, are we becoming them?
Are we becoming them? I'm not suggesting you become them, but I'm just saying that I think our level is a little too high.
Definitely don't hold them to
like as an example, in the election, I remember here, like I've said here for the election, for the referendum, for instance, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with going to an old age home, bringing a bus, picking up the people, offering them donuts, and then bringing them to the polling station to get them to vote. And then I have people go, oh, no, that's immoral. That's wrong. I'm like, well, the Liberals will do that all day long, man. They do that all day long. So that's the kind of morality I'm talking about. I mean, why would we hold ourselves to that level of a high morality that I'm not going to, provide a bus to go help people vote?
Well, it's the same thing when Liberals say, well, how dare you go on American podcasts and get your message out? That's absolutely terrible. Then they go on American podcasts. Forget it. Get on all of them. Get on every single one of them. Pierre lost the campaign in last year because he refused to do that for whatever standards that the Liberals held him up to. That just didn't make any sense. We should be getting along with the Americans, period. I don't care if you got a bunch of boomers in wherever that have their elbows up. I don't care. We don't have the same ideology. Stop living up to the Liberals' ideology. We don't need that at all. We need to move on and do our own thing.
That was the other thing that was a little weird this week, is watching after Monday, like yesterday and today, watching the other major conservative members sort of all rallying behind Pierre. Some of them looked awkward, right? Like some of them, you can kind of tell that the knives are out for Pierre now, right? Because I mean, the showing of the conservatives was brutal. Sure, how much fight do you want to put in, right? How much effort do you want to put in trying to win, University, Rosedale, Toronto ridings? Like, not a lot. You're going to lose them anyways. But they actually lost ground. Like, it's like they didn't put in any fight whatsoever. And maybe I get it. It's probably on purpose, but there's definitely knives out for Pierre after this.
I'm sure. But so getting back to that convention where things got really strange with the proposals that they have. Now, these proposals, like I said, they're not law. They're not making this law. They're not bills yet, but these are proposals so that their colleagues will write this legislation. And with a majority government, they'll likely put these through. Like, think about this. This could be law in very short order. Another one,
a good percentage. I'll tell you honestly, like having been to different conventions, about 50% of of policies passed on the floor of conventions will make it as government policies in the next 4 or 5 years. Usually not that same year, but within a certain number of years, a lot of policies make it. I mean, they're voted on by the membership. So yeah.
Well, I believe that Mark Carney, given this tiny window of opportunity of a few years, he's going to pass as much stuff as he possibly can. And this is one of the ones because of something we've been talking about tremendously. The brain drain in Canada. The brain drain is huge, and Canadians are leaving. New immigrants that have come here, they're leaving. People got their education here are leaving. People they're seeing brighter futures everywhere except for Canada, and largely moving to the United States. So what do the Liberals do? They bring in Patrick Pichette, a former senior VP of Google, to talk about this at their thing. And I mean, I'll let it speak for itself. This is just absurd. So this is from Ryan Garrettson. He puts this out. I'll just let it play. But mind you, he's on stage with 3 senior members of the Liberal Party. They're all cabinet members on stage.
And on the other side of it, let me give a bit of a sober on the protect side. So let me give you a few facts. In Canada, the minute you have your degree, if it's a professional degree, right? There's something in the Canada kind of free trade agreement. I got the wrong acronym, but you get it. It's called the TN program. So Microsoft, I finished from University of Waterloo with my computer degree. Microsoft phones me, offers me a job, 300 grand a year, right? All I have to do is show up at the border, apply for a TN visa, right? And I get this 3-year, like no questions asked. It costs $30. And now I moved to Microsoft. We as Canadians have subsidized my education to the tune of, you pick the number, $500,000, right? 500,000. And if it's a graduate student, go up, right? 30,000 TN go to the US every year. You want to save yourself $5 to $10 billion? Shut the TN program. And then keep them in, or make them pay their $500,000 so that if they leave, I'm okay with that. You want to go to the US? Give me back my money. Like my dad, my mom, you all work every day to offer them their education. So we need both sides. We need to fight on one side to make sure that we bring the very best talent of the world because they all want to come here now. It's absolutely wonderful. But you can't have the sieve on the other side. You can't let 5 billion or 10 billion a year of your hard-earned cash so that Microsoft can get smarter.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of pulling the ladder up from behind you.
I made my son, my middle son was home the other day, and I made him watch that, and you should have seen how quickly he got furious and mad and how quickly he ripped that apart. His first words, Patrick's first words were, he doesn't want me to have what he had. I'm like, that's 100%. That's as simple as you perfectly nailed it. And then Patrick was like, how dare he think that they paid for me and I owe them something. Like, no.
Well, let me throw the argument out there.
Yeah.
So the Liberals have been the ones advocating for padding university degrees and subsidizing the crap out of them. So you go to university, and instead of just studying the damn things that you need, they pad them up with all these other courses, and they add all this other stuff to the tuition. You get a gym and a swimming pool and all these other things that have nothing to do with your education. And why is that the case? Well, because they're trying to entice other people to come to the school. Foreigners, who's been the ones who have been pushing that? Well, it's been the Liberals. It was, Mark Miller who famously said, they're a lucrative asset, bring them in the country. So they're bidding up the price of tuition, to which the government has to step in and subsidize it, because that's what socialists do, instead of just saying, why is this so expensive? Perhaps I remember at one point they were looking at legislation to make it so you could just opt out of all of the unnecessary bullshit in your degree. And then they scrapped that, because what would it do? It would lower tuition costs, and then they wouldn't be the ones subsidizing it. So the government subsidizes it and then wants to penalize you because you had to do all this extra BS before you leave the country.
Well,
that's just insane.
And I hear that as an Albertan, and my blood boils, because I know that as an Albertan, we're sending, $70 billion to Ottawa, and then we get 40 back. So there's 30 that is unaccounted for. And I know that of that 30 that's unaccounted for, about 10 is going to Quebec, and Quebec uses that money to give themselves subsidized university. Really subsidized university. So when he's mad and he says, you want to save yourself $5 billion because he's talking about Canadians in general, all I'm hearing is, no, Albertans will save $5 billion because the people leaving are actually not subsidized by the universities in this country are not subsidized by, definitely in Quebec, they're not subsidized by their own government. It's just an example of bullshit. And he wants to make it a $500,000 bail, kind of like a bond. You deposit a bond with the government of Canada for $500,000 so that if you go to the US, then you get it when you come back, 20 years later. Oh my God, what a load of bullshit.
So I've heard the same arguments from liberals that, if I'm leaving with my trades degree, they'll say, well, you should pay back all the money that the government subsidized to put you through school as a tradesman.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's fine. I'll pay all that back. If you will pay me back for all the years that I couldn't work in the trade as a professional because I didn't have the degree and I couldn't get someone to sign off on it and this whole bureaucracy behind it, but I had to work as a laborer in other ways, pay me all the back pay for all those times. I bet you anything I'd come out on top in that equation. So screw you on your subsidization. The only reason why there's a limited amount of tradespeople out there is because of all these barriers to entry in the first place, and that's the problem.
Yeah, no, that was just a poorly thought out argument that resonates, right? The people at the convention are like, sounds good. I mean, in the same sentence is like, we're trying to attract people to come here, but we don't want people to steal from us. It's, it's a nonsensical argument. It's like when you hear I'm going to pick on Calgary. Like, you got the city of Calgary is upset because people from small towns like mine go to Calgary and we use the pools in Calgary or the libraries, right? So they want to charge me more because an out-of-towner is using their library. I'm like, yeah, but then you as a Calgarian, when you drive through my county on your way to Banff, I don't charge you. So like, they're so focused on finding every nickel and dime that they can that they forget about the big picture. And
you know what? I love these arguments because we could go all the way down and then bring it down to the point where we just say, how about we don't subsidize any of this crap? How about you just pay for the shit that you use?
Bingo. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm down with that. How about free enterprise? And how about the swimming pool is owned by an entrepreneur?
Actually, you're right. I'm sure even there's probably I imagine there had to be some liberals in the crowd when he was talking about that going, I don't have kids. Even if your kids stay in Canada, I'm still subsidizing your kids. Like, what's the, no, here, I agree. Oh, well,
but yeah,
no, I thought, let's keep it light. I thought the other thing, did you see the clip of the entertainment and the partying that they did afterwards at the convention? The one with the almost like the stripper and on the pole dancing.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to try to show that on YouTube. That's not. Yeah, it's funny because like,
so you'll get censored for showing it on YouTube, but the liberals don't get censored for having that event at their convention. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, and the liberals can show it on their YouTube. That's how different it is. That's how absolutely different it is. Speaking of things being a little different and people being treated differently, you brought up this idea that, well, the Albertans are like, well, no, we're the ones paying for it. Absolutely. So this was something that came up today, and I was just like, if this turns out to be true, this is just insane. But Jeffrey Rath put out a tweet today. And he said, well, I'll just read it. So he says, breaking, I just received a call from Stelco, a Stelco employee in Hamilton, Ontario, that a person advised me that he was present when Mark Carney visited the Stelco steel plant in Hamilton, Ontario on March 29th, 2026. They advised that when Mark Carney was asked what he would do in the face of an Alberta independence vote, Mark Carney replied that there will be no independence because I'll invoke the Emergencies Act. This was not reported in any mainstream media outlet, who were present, it demonstrates that Mark Carney has zero respect for the rule of law, the Constitution of Canada, the Supreme Court of Canada, or the Parliament of Canada. This should not surprise anyone. This should, yeah, absolutely. This is crazy. Now, I don't know how true this is. I mean, hearsay, rumors, things like that.
Well, I mean, first of all, there was a couple of community notes on that post, and they were weak, right? So people said Carney wasn't at the Stelco plant on the 29th. He was at the whatever, Algoma plant. I'm like, okay, whatever. You're splitting hairs, right? Like Jeff is recalling a conversation he had with somebody or a phone call. But is it possible? Absolutely. Do you and I think that the Carney could invoke the Emergency Measures Act for something absolutely, right? I mean, like, they invoked it for other things. So would they invoke it for that?
Here's the argument. The argument is that it's not legal to invoke it for that. Well, it wasn't legal to invoke it for a protest, but Justin Trudeau did that. And here's the thing. A court found that it was illegal, and there was no ramifications. Ramifications for it. So would he do it to upset the vote and possibly thwart it from taking place or going forward? Could happen. Postpone it, perhaps.
It's definitely not out of the realm of possible. And then I'll also say this, right? Jeff can be pretty abrasive and he'll make some offhand comments and stuff like that, but he is a lawyer who passed the bar. Like last week, we all saw Jeff in court in Edmonton in his uniform, in his whatever, and back and forth with the judge. So he's a lawyer. So he can't by default purposely lie. So he's not making that up. So I have full confidence that the call that he received is legit. Somebody called him and gave him a story. Does he have time to back check the story? No, but that's, Jeff doesn't. People are going to say he should do all his fact checking. No. He's not a journalist. He's a guy. And I do the same thing. If I found out, I mean, some things I try and double check, but other things I don't necessarily completely double check. So I believe this. I believe Jeff is telling the truth that he got a call like that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Jeff would be lying in this case, but it could be one of those. Well, is that what was actually heard? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but it's not far from possible. I mean, that I would not be surprised at all if. Listen, right now. We've talked about this, right? So the independence movement in Alberta is moving into a new phase. We have enough signatures, and we're pretty much gonna, on May 2nd, we're gonna find out what Danielle's gonna do with those signatures.
Well, tell me about this because wasn't there was an injunction, and then how did that go? And it's still being postponed for a month, but how does the
injunction was heard? So the injunction was heard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week, and so now the judge has to, all parties made their case in front of the judge, and the judge has to ponder the evidence, call it, and then make a decision. Jeff Rath did an amazing job of giving the judge a lot to think about. Like he gave the judge a lecture on the law. So then the judge realized, oh shit, it's going to take me at least 30 or 40 days to make a ruling on this. So they're asking for an injunction, which is to stop. And the judge says, I don't have time. I'm not going to approve your injunction and just stop it. I need to rule. But in the meantime, this is what I'm going to do. He stayed the counting. So I'm allowed as a canvasser to continue collecting signatures up until May 2nd, which was always the plan. But on May 2nd, when we turn him over to Elections Alberta, the judge told Elections Alberta, you cannot count and certify these signatures until I make my ruling. And the judge's ruling might be that he's, invalidating the whole petition, whatever. So it's not an ideal ruling, but it's sort of reasonable, right? The judge is saying, I'll come back in 30 days. Now, my fear about this
but he comes back so the question is, he comes back in 30 days. That's past the 2nd of May. Sure.
Yeah. And that is a problem, because if he comes back in 30 days and it's May 5th, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about, Mitch Sylvester started the injunction, the petition when he did for a reason. We knew that we were going to collect signatures until May 2nd, which puts it right in the recess of the government, right? So Danielle Smith will be on recess. She doesn't come back until, let's say, July. when she comes back in July and she can look at the petition and say, okay, I'll give you a referendum on October. So July, August, September, October, 4 months. We're okay. So if the judge, so if the judge takes until, let's say, mid-June to make his ruling, we're fine. That doesn't stress us out. But I'm worried because a judge could kick this down the road forever and ever and say, I'm thinking about it. And then the clock could run. So at this point, nobody's panicking. But,
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the premise of this is they want it stopped because the natives haven't been consulted. And
they just want it. Yeah.
For all intents and purpose, there's no requirement for a consultation on something that the natives can sign or not sign. Like
or
that
vote
is the
on. They can
the
vote
consultation.
On it.
That is the consultation. Go up to the natives and say, "Here, do you want to sign it or you don't want to sign it?" We've consulted you.
They're basically trying to stop a vote on this. Their argument is that forever and ever, in perpetuity, Alberta has to exist the way it is because of the treaties. That's it. Like nothing can ever change, and it's like, okay,
yeah, well, that's unrealistic. It just straight up.
No, they want them. They want to give themselves the ultimate veto to say no to just about everything, and this is another example of that. I mean, I lost my shit online. People saw the video. I lost my shit that day when I heard the ruling, and then sure, I was hot under the collar, but I do feel like we're being held hostage by a handful of people up north that are blocking us at progress at every step of the way. And then they go and then they leave. They go to the UK and they go visit the king and they go like, hey, remember we ceded our lands to you, and when are you going to step in and defend us? I'm like, holy smokes. Like,
well, there's no defending something that they've ceded.
In their mind, their understanding of ceded means something different than your and I's understanding of it. That's what the judges are constantly every decade. The judges have to study that question. What did they actually give up when they ceded their lands? I think but we're gonna have to wait for the judge to tell us again. And my fear, there's two things. I mean, I'm still optimistic that the judge will actually, Jeff made a good case. Is like, this is the law. It's pretty clear. And the judge will rule and say, I can't allow this injunction. The petition has to go ahead for the simple reason that petitioning is one of the most basic fundamental human rights, or rights we have in this country. If I can't write on a piece of paper and ask the government to consider something, holy smokes, like what have we become, right? I mean, I've shown people I'll just show you real quick. I mean, this is what I'm doing on the side of the road. I'm there's a question here that says, do you want a referendum on independence? And people are just signing, yes, I want a referendum on independence. And the people that are trying to get this injunction don't want me asking people if they're on board and want to sign that piece of paper. I thought this would be the most bizarre thing in the world, that the judge would say, this can't go ahead, Marty. You have to stop what you're doing. And then so I said, well, then I'll be in contempt of the law. And people said, well, you have no respect for the law. I'm like, no, I have respect for the law. I'm also allowed to be in contempt of the law or the court. So if the court says this, I'm gonna continue collecting signatures until somebody comes and arrests me. If we get to that point, right? You'll have to come. Yeah. Sorry, imagine the visual. Why are you putting Marty in handcuffs and putting him in the back of a cruiser? Well,
because he wants to engage in democracy.
Yeah, he's engaged in democracy. What a radical. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? But then I say that because I sound like a tough guy. But then at the same time, last week I went and saw Tamara Litch speak here in Calgary. She spoke at the university. And when you hear Tamara and you see the hell that she was put through, no matter how tough I am and how tough any of us are, you start to understand that the government can throw a lot of weight behind its decisions and make our life a living hell.
It's no problem for them because you're the one paying for it.
Yeah, them. But I'll continue to be. I think on that one I'd be pretty. I'll stand by my conviction. On that one, I'll be in contempt of the court. I mean, if the judge said, "Yeah, you got to stop collecting signatures," I'd be like, "No, I'm not." I'll be, it'd be funny, but oh god.
So yeah. I want to remind people because while we're on that, what happened to Chris and Tamara was not the end of it. What happened during COVID when people were ripped out of their homes for having too many people by whatever government decree that was arbitrary at the time, and being ripped out of their homes by police was not the end of it. In fact, I've got one thing. This will make, I don't know if you haven't seen this, this will make your blood boil over. So this was a scene in Canada this week, and I'll pop it up on the screen. Magnetic Norse posted this and said, RCMP now arresting full cars of people because of, checks notes, empty cigarette packs. And this is a real scene on the side of the road. And I'm glad they filmed it, because have a listen to this. This will just make you realize that not a lot has changed since COVID when it comes to some RCMP police officers, I don't know, mall cops, whatever you have to say.
Oh,
hey, how you doing?
How about you?
All right.
Got a license on you?
Yep. Nice fresh one.
What's that?
A nice fresh one.
Whose car is this?
My dad's.
Your dad's?
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's a full car, buddy.
What are you driving? Yeah.
There's people in the back seat. The car is actually full. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
He's got a Vizzy vest on, you can see. The guy driving. So obviously he's a worker. A working man.
All right, I'll be right back, okay?
Sure.
People here now?
Not sure what the initial stop was for, but I imagine it's just something routine, like maybe a little speeding or something.
Violent people.
What's that?
Or just high occupancy, and he was like coming to make sure everyone had a seatbelt on or something like that.
We're violent people.
Yeah.
Watch the attitude.
Everybody
here.
just step out, okay?
Why is that?
Well, you guys have unstamped smokes in the car, okay? Those are illegal.
We have what?
Unstamped smokes.
We have what?
Those things, yeah, illegal.
So unstamped smokes, I'll fill people in who don't know what this is. So you pay a government levy on cigarettes, and there's a stamp on them. They put a stamp on it that the duty has been paid on your cigarettes, which is exorbitant. The cigarette pack probably costs like $2-3, but you get a stamp put on it, and then you pay your whatever $25 for a packet of cigarettes. And without having that, you have bootleg cigarettes. So
we call those reserve cigarettes. So here in Alberta, you can go to many reservations and you can just go. In fact, you can do it online. But a carton of cigarettes, they're imitations. They look like other brands, but they're native brands. They don't have the seal. A carton of cigarettes on the native reserve is $50 instead of $200 with the government stamp.
So apparently that's illegal. Well, listen to the reaction from this.
It is illegal if you're smoking them off the reserve. The natives are allowed to smoke them on reserve and provide, duty-free sort of cigarettes. But if you buy them on a reserve and you leave, you are technically breaking the law. And that's why these guys are getting...
Wait. If a native buys them on reserve and smokes them off reserve, they have to buy tax stamp cigarettes if they smoke
anything. Yeah, you can't leave the reserve with it. But I mean, no cop in his right mind would ever ticket a native with the cigarettes, I think. But I mean, in fact, I thought this guy might have been native. There's so much wrong with this video, man. It's bizarre, but keep playing it.
Yeah.
Everyone's under arrest under the Excise Act, okay?
But there's no smokes in here.
There's no smokes in.
There's no smokes in.
Might not even be his pack. Could have been his father's.
You're being arrested.
Why am I being arrested? I'm just getting a ride home. I live in a corner.
Arresting the whole car.
Right on 202.
We're being arrested for...
Everybody's under arrest.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Get out.
Under arrest for what?
What's at the Excise Act? Okay, if you ain't got shit, get out. Go.
What are we being detained for?
Hey, I don't know how many times you have to ask me. Possession of unstamped tobacco, okay? I can see the box. Get out of the car.
The box is here, but it's an empty box.
So this is just egregious. I it's insane to me. So I mean, wow. So I've never heard of this. I've never heard of someone getting pulled over and arrested for having not native.
Well, when I saw that scares me because I got lots of buddies that smoke native cigarettes. Like if we live next door, we can go next door here on the reserve and we can go buy them. But more importantly, folks, just have fun with this. You can buy them on the internet. And they'll deliver them to your place. They're $50, and they'll deliver them by mail to your place for $5 postage and handling. there's no way this is standing in court, man. It's an empty pack. And he had no, you're like, no, that's egregious as can be. Absolutely.
So it totally is. And this is why I posted this up. I said they tore family members out of their homes for gathering during COVID. They'll arrest a whole family for attempting or for an empty box of smokes. And you think that they won't come collect your guns?
Yeah.
You honestly think they won't come round you up when they're told to?
Yeah.
Wake up, Canada. Wake up, because these are the people that have authority in Canada. And I'm sorry to say, like, I for a while there, I was like, yeah, nobody's going to go and do this stuff. Yeah, they have the people. They have the people that will be willing to do this kind of power grab BS. They've had it in the past. They had it during COVID. Watch out.
At the ostrich farm, they have it. I got family members that are in the police, and I got some really good friends that are. One of the guys I hike with all the time is a police officer. So there are some good police officers, but I've also seen them, how they work. Not that my friends, but I was at an event in COVID, and the police were there, and they were all around, and everything was going okay. It was at the I won't name where, but it was a popular restaurant that became popular during COVID. And all of a sudden, the cops they looked like they were buddies. And then some sergeant said something like, okay, enough is enough. And then all of a sudden, it was like they all switched on and they went into full cop mode. And then, just kicking people down and doing their job. And then I know the training. They're trained, and they become automatons at that point, and they're just whatever. They're following their orders, and in their mind they repeat, it's just Tuesday, it's just Tuesday, it's just Tuesday. They because they're trained to ignore that little thing in their head that says this is wrong. Nope, it's just Tuesday. It's just Tuesday. I'm arresting that guy because he's got a pack of unstamped cigarettes. It's just Tuesday.
A pack of darts.
Yeah.
Which, is crazy. Like when you actually think about why tobacco is taxed so much in Canada, do you even know the history of that?
I don't know. But whether it's tobacco here in Alberta, and I think you guys do too in BC, we have purple gasoline, right? We have untaxed gasoline and we have taxed gasoline, because if you work on a farm, you have untaxed gasoline. And if you get caught, the highway guys will go down the road, they'll stop your truck and they'll test your tank. And if they pull that dipstick and there's some purple in there, they'll go, this is you have bootleg gasoline.
Yeah, Mark
wine. No, it's
What's crazy though is so this all started from the United States. Canada just adopted it because they heard about a new tax and they just jump on it. But the United States started taxing cigarettes. I think it was right after they had the hearings where they brought in experts and said these are addictive. And basically what they did was they gave the tobacco companies they had the choice of banning tobacco entirely at that point, because they discovered that these industries were selling something that was dangerous. And they were like, well, they could ban the thing. The tobacco companies came up with the idea, well, why don't you just tax our product, and then you'll have a little bit more government money, and then we'll work in cahoots.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. And then they get in cahoots with the governments, and the governments immediately, as soon as they heard that they were getting money, they spent it. Because that's what they do. They spend the money before it even comes in. They're like, oh, we're getting X amount %. This is why, Marty, listen to this. The reason why taxes on cigarettes keep climbing, it's not because they want to get more people off of them. It's because less people smoke anymore. Less and less people smoke every year. So they've already spent the money. So to not have a big deficit, and they just raise the taxes. It's the Laffer curve. It's crazy.
And taxes, because they're inelastic. I mean, they're like people who are addicted to their cigarettes will keep buying their cigarettes regardless of the price and the amount of taxes on it. That's fine. And fuel is no different. I mean, I can't tell you how many people actually believe, I meet people all the time who believe that, like, oh, well, the tax you pay on fuel is used to upgrade the roads. No, it's not.
Not
the fuel
really,
you pay on tax just goes to general revenue, and then the government uses it to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, Carney temporarily froze the fuel tax
not
right now. Do you
yours.
think you think that just means he's not going to repair roads? No, it means like, and by the way, folks, we live in a country where, yeah, you can get arrested for having an empty pack of cigarettes on your dash. You could also get arrested for having a bottle of unpasteurized milk. Like, if you buy unpasteurized milk directly from a farmer, you're breaking the law. I mean, there are farmers that are now
For
scared
your own
shitless.
good, though, Marty. It's for your
What's
own
that?
good.
Yeah, it's for your own good. Like, even here in Alberta, I remember this year at the AGM in Edmonton, that was brought up, and Danielle Smith even said, like, she didn't understand that concept of why people worried about that, and she got a big boo. People are like, it's just none of your business. If I want to buy unpasteurized milk, I don't need to give you a reason. Like, she didn't understand why people bought unpasteurized milk, and there's
why? No, it's none of your
business.
Nanya.
Yeah,
Nanya.
I
What's
like
the reason. Nanya. N-U-N-Y-A. Nanya.
I mean, I buy it because it makes better cheese than pasteurized milk, right? Once the milk is pasteurized, you can't make cheese out of it. So if you want to make good cheese at home, you have to buy unpasteurized milk.
You have to re-put in the natural bacteria and all that stuff. That would have been
and some people like it because it helps them with their gut biome and whatever. But again, it's none of your business why I want to buy unpasteurized milk.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Again, I'm all about freedom. You're all about freedom, and well, our governments are not, and that's exactly. We'll talk more about this.
Is it already? Oh my God, we went through an hour. We never even. Okay, we're gonna play a lot of funny clips during the next period because there's so many funny clips that we need to play. Okay, cool.
Folks. So, well, now's the time. We're gonna get into talking with.
So, do you want me to turn off the Extreme live or leave it on?
Let's just keep everything going. Okay. Everything should just stay up. I gotta remove a bunch of these. For some reason, X, like if you look at the chat on the thing. By the way, before we get into this, Marty, where can people find you?
Marty Up North on X, Marty Up North on YouTube. I had to think about it for a second.
All right, let's get into this. So for some reason, I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I can move these chats. For some reason, the X chats keep
stuck at the bottom, right? They're not moving up. Yeah. I noticed
and it's all the one user. Is that one of your followers?
I have no idea. Oh, they're gone now. Oh no, they're back there. Yeah. They keep stuck at the bottom.
They're absolutely just stuck at the bottom. So I don't know how to get rid of that because then it makes it difficult to follow the chat because I have to keep scrolling instead of just watching the chat. So maybe drop the X thing. Maybe drop X from here just so that goes.
Yeah, I can do that. That's no big deal. Let me just
you drop that and then we'll see if it goes away. If it doesn't go away, then I'll drop my X.
Okay, removed. Done. So shut down on X for now. See what happens.
And then
all right.
Reaper jumped in. He says that's me. Shit.
Who's that?
Reaper said that's me. Shit. Oh man.
I nursed this one. Now I get a second one. So this is.
Well, I've been nursing that whiskey the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice whiskey, by the way. This one. There was a friend that was going to visit, and he never showed up. And I got this for him. I'll get him another bottle of whiskey. Andrew, if you're listening, I'll get you another bottle of whiskey. Don't worry. But this was
now. If I ever come visit
really
you,
nice
do I still need to bring you some bourbon? Do you guys have American liquor in your stores yet, or is that still?
We can get it. We just can't get it in the government store.
Yeah. See that, and again, that was another just another bullshit thing, right? I get it that certain products are protected because of their brand or whatever, but here in Alberta. There's a town south of us called Tabor, right? Taber.
Yep.
And Tabor is known for its corn. And somebody in Tabor was making a nice bourbon, but rather than spell it bourbon, B-O-U-R-B-O-N, they spelled it bourbon as a play on word on Tabor. So it was Tabor corn. It was a bourbon-like drink made out of Tabor corn. And the Canada Food Inspection came down hard on them and made them stop selling that because apparently Canadians are too stupid to know that bourbon spelled A-N is actually not bourbon from the US. I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, the guy did the right thing. He changed the name on it a little bit, but I'm like, that's your tax dollars working. That's the Canada Food Inspection Agency coming down hard on a small producer to protect you and me. Like, who are the, you know, the drinkers of bourbon that I bought to make, like, but meanwhile, you can put almond milk on the side of a bottle, and they don't ban that. And, you know, they don't put a warning saying, warning, this isn't milk, it's almond milk. But like,
this isn't, yeah, well, that's ridiculous.
You know,
but in Canada, so in British Columbia, they still have the ban on it's alcohol that's sold in Donald Trump voting states. Yeah, that's how freaking stupid.
Yeah,
Canada
so
is.
no
It's
Kentucky
embarrassing.
bourbon. Yeah, you can
It
have
really
California wines, but no Kentucky bourbon.
Well, it's really embarrassing because, like, I think in response to that, like, America should just totally say, oh, okay, well, everything except for the people who voted conservative, like, you know, Ontario, you know, the Maritime, Ontario East, you know, you all can suffer with giant tariffs, and you know, all the people who actually did vote for conservatives, you know, that would be tit for tat. But guess what? America doesn't do that, because America is not the asinine country that everybody portrays it to be, but Canada actually is. Absolutely actually is. So
Let's
yeah,
go
it's
through a few of these
frustrating.
questions, because they're already an hour behind. Like, we had people starting doing super chats right off the bat, which is awesome. Thank you, folks.
Which is great. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Storm Warren for 5 says Elizabeth May, the great wino from Parts Unknown. I've never been to the parts where she's from. I don't want to see her parts.
Why is she still an MP, man? She's got to be like, God, how
It's
many
got to be.
times?
It's got to be wackos, man, living in that riding. What's the name of her riding?
Salt Spring Island, isn't it? I think she's
Is that
Salt
what it
Spring
is?
Island. Yeah, I think so.
I've never been. I don't spend much time on the island, even though, like, I'm a stone's throw from there. But you got to take the communism boat over, and it costs a fortune. Holy cow! And there's not very many sailings, and geez, you got to plan it a month ahead.
She must. I mean, she does it for the perks. She does it for the free wine bar, and she does it for all of that. I mean, she's like, because the money at this point, and boy, the raise they got, right? An MP is $218,000 a year. An MP, a run-of-the-mill MP, gets 3 times more money than the average wage in this country. And I mean, some of them maybe earn it, but when I see Mark Garrettson, or remember that favorite smelly cat, what was her name, Jen O'Connell, like, I mean, like, Jen O'Connell makes $218,000 a year for being an MP. Wow. Jeez.
So I'm getting I got a text message from a friend just giving me the reminder, because I don't do this enough. But if you want to support the channel, there's great ways to do this. You know, you can leave us super chats. That's always fun. It's fun during these live streams. But other than that, there are ways to support the channel. You can go over to the merch store, and that's where a lot of people have been going recently. And we've got some new designs. I'm really stoked on this 51st state. So I made the flag, right? And I put that up there, and people are like, where can I get one? And I don't know how to mass produce flags, but you can definitely get it on a shirt. So go get the 51 shirt. I've got the TDS Find a Cure shirt. Just some merch, just, you know, with the logo of the channel. We got hoodies. My kids love the hoodies. Beanies or toques, or whatever you call them here in Canada. Canada's up for grabs hats. Those became a popular one. And my favorite, I love this design. This is the I grabbed that shirt of Donald Trump grabbing Canada, because that's what a lot of people are hoping for right now, especially after Mark Carney's jump into the, you know, majority government prime minister. Things are not going well. So I think a lot of people are hoping that Trump would just grab it. Just go on and grab the pussy, because yeah, that's the thing. So head on over to the merch store. The link is in the description down below. It's very simple. It's ClydeDoSomething.com. So go check it out.
Just leave that up for a second. You know, it's a 5XL, right? I'll just tell you a quick story. Years ago, when I was working in the oil patch, we had a milestone that we needed to celebrate at work, and so I ordered jackets, nice jackets for the guys, Carhartt jackets with the company logo and stuff like that.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah.
So I told the girl, like, get everybody's sizes or whatever, and then had the spreadsheet, took the spreadsheet to whatever Carhartt gave him the spreadsheet. And on my spreadsheet, there was a guy with a 7XL with 2 extra inches on the sleeves, right? And I'll never forget, because when I gave the sheet to the girl, she's going through it.
Boy.
Yeah, she's going through it. She's like, what the hell kind of a human being is a 7XL? I'm like, oh, that's Noah. He's just a big boy. Like Noah was 6'7", and not huge, like not fat. Like he was literally a 6'7" monster of a human being, like just big, like big boy. Like when I look up to Noah, or when Noah would say, "Hey, boss," and shake my hand, I'd be like, easy, Noah, easly.
Like giant meat hooks coming in.
Yeah. If you're listening, Noah, man, you were one of my favorites. That guy, he would hold, like, you wouldn't see the sandwich in his hand. You know what I mean? Like he'd sit there in the lunchroom. It's like, is he eating? Because he's just bringing something to his face. But a normal sized sandwich would disappear in his hands. The guy was big, man. Big farm boy. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. In fact, it's my friend Brian who texted me to remind me to put this up on the screen. And he's a similar dude. He's humongous. I went shooting with him just over the weekend. You met him briefly at one of the meetups. He came out to the one in Squamish, and he's a machinist, if you remember that. He's a really tall, big dude, and massive. Like we're shooting these guns, and he had a bullpup shotgun that was a small gun, even for someone my size. It's a pretty small gun for a full size shotgun. You're like, wow, this is tiny. He grabbed the thing, and it's just a little pea shooter. It's so funny to watch. Oh, what a dude, though. But yeah, thank you for the reminder. And for everybody who wants to get some merch, you know where to get it. It helps the channel out tremendously. And, I'm not just doing this by myself. I've got a team of people that help out, and that really helps keep them employed. It helps keep them going. And if we can expand the business, we can bring on more people, and we can employ people maybe more full time. That's always the goal. So thank you all so much for that. Next one is Javelin Blue. Welcome back for $5. Says this country's fucked. There's no other way of saying that. Yeah, it's fucked.
Actually,
what do you say, Marty?
As
well,
a
you
reminder,
want out. You already know.
Yeah, I want to, but let's show how messed up it is. As a reminder, play that clip where was it an NDP candidate or MP said that they were disappointed that the MWIPQRSAAPW whatever like that. Actually, if you find that clip, or better yet, if you find the people there was somebody who made a nice skit about it, like the guy standing over the shoulder. But I mean, I have it. I could find it. But
I'll get it for you. Don't worry. If you want to find that, I'll grab that real quick, because I have the other clip.
Do you have the original or the other one? Play either or.
Okay, I have the original.
The second one's funnier too. Like, but I mean, and that made the world again. Like, welcome to Canada. Canada screwed up, right? So Canada made the news because of the equity cards at the NDP convention, and then this kind of stuff comes up. This was mocked all over the world, man. All over the world.
The entire world mocked this.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW, G2S, LGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
This is abhorrent. This is the same woman that brought in a bunch of legislation. She wanted to make it illegal to question the genocide of whatever, any of that. She also wanted to bring in what was it? The communism thing, the UBI.
Universal Basic Income or whatever. Yeah,
unreal. So that's this woman. I'll try to find that other clip quickly, but it's
find the other one making fun of that one with the guy in the background where he brings up his own acronyms. His acronyms are even hilarious. I mean, I can find it pretty quickly if you don't have it, but
it's just what's in the list of all. Oh, there. No, I didn't get it.
got the guy with the funny hair. Just
I know the clip.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of finding it, because everybody's reposting this crap. That's the problem. Every single person is reposting. Oh, they got a hashtag for it now. Oh, dang. Yeah, I'm not finding it.
Keep talking. Read another question, and I'll go find it, and I'll bring it up.
Yeah, put it in the chat. All right. We got Javelin Blue in the chat for 10 this time. Says, Marty, did you hear about Carney trying to invoke the Emergencies Act to stop separation? Yeah, well, we talked about that. That was a big one. Thank you so much.
Through Jeff Rath. We heard it. Yeah, we heard it through Jeff Rath.
Mm-hmm. He jumped in with another. Jumped in with another one for $5. Says it's bribery or blackmail, Marty. Yeah, one of the two. I'm talking about what was her name? What did they call her? They called her Judas. What was her last name now? I'm forgetting. The one from Sarnia.
What?
The Sarnia MP that flipped over to the Conservatives.
Madeleine Gladue.
Yeah, they were calling her Judas Gladue.
Judas. Okay, I put it at the top of my Twitter feed the other one. It's
it's okay. It's on the top of yours.
Yeah, and people said that play it. It's funny. I mean, the alphabet is losing its value now. I mean, it's too long. Right?
This is why I'm actually applauding what this person did.
And so Jack is all about that, right? Like our friend Jack. I mean, Jack is talking about like it was okay when it was gays and lesbians and queers, maybe, but now you guys, like, everybody wants to be included into the alphabet. This guy nails.
Well, even Jack says, like, get queer out of the whole thing. Queer is like some weird identity thing. It was supposed to be about orientation, and that's it. So it's like LGB, like, and I even say that the L are gay, like lesbians are gay, and so are bi people. They're gay. Let's just make it G, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the inevitability of this stuff, and I love it. I actually encourage this. Make it more ridiculous.
They provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+.
And for those of you fascists who don't know what that means, it's obviously missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning, intersex, and asexual. And we decided that the best way to honor these murdered and missing women was to lump them into the ever-growing category of gender identities and sexualities. We're also expanding that list to include the PWPPOTPs, or people who prefer pineapple on their pizza, as well as the WENTCWTPLs, or white empty nesters that clap in the plain land. We will also be expanding out to the LXBM, TATT, MT3, SABR, 31, FAT, WOWO, ABAIC, which of course refers to the Latinx busty MILFs that ask to try more than 3 samples at Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors, then walk out without actually buying any ice cream. So we're going to have full alphabet soon.
And people got upset that he was mocking missing and murdered
women,
Indigenous women. No, he's not. The people mocking that were the lady who did who added MMIW to the acronym. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, even what was it, Matt Walsh, who said, like, imagine being murdered, murdered, and now you're lumped in with the gays. You know, you go into the afterlife after all of this, and you get murdered, and you see your loved ones, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know that about you." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, you're gay. Like, what do you mean? I was murdered. You're like, yeah, I know. Have you seen the new acronym? Like, that's just how ridiculous it's become. Where, murdered people who were involuntarily unalived are now members of this crazy. It's a mind bend, and I love it. Add more to it, make it more ridiculous, because that's where it needs to go. And it needs to go into the inevitability of the dumpster bin of history, where everybody saw it for what it was. It's the ever growing browbeat to try to get you to kowtow to what their will is. And the more people ridicule it and the more people mock it, the better it is for everybody in general in society. I love it.
Yep.
So more of this, please. Mechanics for $10 says, Mark Carney is the old rich white guy the left has always demonized, complain about crony capitalists, and now we fight for him. It's amazing. Yeah. It's always the case though. Like every time communists take over, they complain about what? The bourgeoisie, they complain about rich people, and they complain about wealth in excess. And every time the communists take over, the leaders have wealth and access. They become the bourgeoisie. They become everything that they hate.
Same thing last week in Winnipeg, right? They elected Avi Lewis as their leader, and then they had equity cards to completely to allow women and marginalized people and whatever to have better access to the podium, completely at the expense of the white guys. And who did they choose as their leader? The white guy with a $30 million personal fortune. I mean, like Carney's a central banker, for Christ's sake. You can't get like he was the number. I mean, I remember a time where we hated banks more than we hated oil. Remember that time? I mean, everybody hated banks, right? Your bank fees and this and that and this and that. And the Liberals elected a banker. And are rallying behind a white male banker from another country who might as well be connected to royalty.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard on CBC? Because I've been putting it on in the car every day on the way to and from work. Because I only have like a 5-minute commute. So I don't have to suffer it for that long. But I do so that I can hear what's going on in the CBC. And I think when I get down to Texas, I'm going to try to find like a website, because apparently they do the hourly CBC news thing, and you can go in and you can find the website and listen to it. I think I'll do that even when I get to Texas, because I want to keep in touch, because I'm going to be in real world. I'm going to go to the real world. I'm going to join the rest of the real world and be out of this stuff. I want to see the little propaganda window so I can like get a taste of what's actually still going on.
You just get the CBC gem or something like that on the app or whatever. You'll get enough. You'll get enough in 20 minutes to just want to blow.
It doesn't take long. Like I said, it doesn't take long. 5 minutes each way, once a day.
That's it. No, I do the same thing. People, I admit it. People say, "Oh, you watch the CBC." I'm like, yes, because I want to know what stories they're interested on. I'm not gonna. That's all I go. I look at it to go see what they're talking about, because they got a bigger staff, so they know what's going on, right? And so you watch the CBC for a couple of minutes and then go, "Ooh, okay, that doesn't sound right," and then do your own research.
Right.
I mean, they break good stories. I mean, the CBC, I haven't even had a chance to go into it, but apparently the CBC today had a story that the NDP got $670,000, even though they're not a party. They're not official party status. Somehow or other, they managed to still get $670,000 from Carney or whatever for some of their expenses. So I look forward to go and look up that story. But that's a good little service that the CBC can do. They can. I mean, it got about 15,000 employees. So of course, they're going to break stories. I hope they can break stories. Like
it's crazy though. So today, I got 2 CBC stories to go over. So today, first, I'm going to write this down just so I don't forget, because I really want to bring this up, because what was it? 1 minute of rage, and we'll get into that. But so today on the CBC, what did I hear? They're bringing up the plastic debate again. They're on about plastic, as if like plastic's this big demon. They've banned basically all the plastic in Canada. You can't get straws. You can't get the forks. You can't get any of the stuff. You can definitely get you still get your solo cups, which everyone was criticizing Trudeau for having the little solo cups. But they're on the thing about plastic. And in the report, they're ragging on, of course, the oil sands in Alberta. And they kept talking about a potential of a big environmental disaster, and that the cleanup of the oil sands disaster would outweigh any of the profits that the oil sands could ever produce. And the only thing going on in my head is people don't understand what the hell the oil sands are. They're sands full of oil and there's people steam cleaning the damn sand and putting it back clean. Like, that's what it is. It is an environmental disaster cleanup crew on large scale, and somehow, like, okay, Marty, you've dealt with these people for a long time. What is the disaster that they predict can happen? What the hell?
No, I mean, there is none. I mean, you know, along those lines, some people wake up. There are still people and others don't. Like this week was I saw a great meme, right? There's somebody who was like, showed a picture of a plastic straw and is like, I'm not allowed to use this because I'm going to save the planet. Meanwhile, and then over his shoulder is a picture of like a boat in the Strait of Hormuz going up in flames and burning, right? It's like, I feel good today. I feel really, really good. I saved the planet by drinking out of a paper straw.
Yeah.
I mean, paper straws are actually, I repeated this all through the Trudeau era, right? Trudeau's idea of progress was going from plastic straws wrapped in paper to paper straws wrapped in plastic. That was Trudeau's idea of progress. I'm like, yeah, congratulations. Way to go.
But at what cost? Like, if that's all you did and it didn't cost anybody anything, freaking bravo, buddy.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But if it costs the economy to the tune of trillions of dollars, like how much investment did we lose during the Trudeau era? This is a story we didn't get into.
$1 trillion, according to the Royal Bank.
This is freaking insane, right?
1.8 trillion. Yeah.
But unbelievable new RBC report between 2015 and 2024. That is 1 decade. More than $1 trillion in investment exited Canada, making the largest capital exodus in Canadian history. This is a record of the Liberal government under Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney. Let's not forget, for the last few years, Mark Carney was his economic advisor. Officially. I don't know how long he was unofficially.
I have personal accounts of this, right? In my role as a senior manager in the oil patch and having to go and do some real fundraising for projects. I have witnessed this where I was sitting in a bank in Malaysia and had the banker saying, love your project, not investing. Why not? Too risky. Canada's a banana republic. He didn't say banana republic, but I knew what he was saying. And then I love that story because sitting on the side of the road canvassing collections for the independence petition, one of the number one complaints I hear all the time is, oh, an independent Alberta will be bad for business, will scare away investors. I'm like, there's nobody left to scare, man. They're all gone. They're all gone. So like we've hit rock bottom.
Let me tell you, it would take a decade of Canada making the right decisions before anyone would like tiptoe in and touch their toes to the water, because people are gone. They've left Canada, and like you said, they're like, no. Banana Republic.
When's the last time a company came to invest here without huge subsidies, right? Ford's not coming here. GM, Stellantis, whatever. No, they're all somewhere else. Yeah.
China wants to sell their EVs here because they can steal your data from your cell phone, because that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna hook it up to your cell phone, and then they're gonna have all your information. That's worth money to them, Marty. It's worth money to them. Like it's worth that kind of data breach is worth a lot of money, and people just don't realize how much value is in that at this point yet. And holy cow, is our government selling us up Schitt's Creek? So yeah, oof, scary. My guy. Where were we? Oh, I wanted to bring this up. So the other thing, the other crazy thing that came up. Another thing that I popped in on the radio, I get in the car and I start to drive to work. The first thing that popped in on the radio was, it was yesterday or the day before. They said, this is the 10-year anniversary of the opioid epidemic in British Columbia, or was it in Canada? And because of this, they were going to hold this, I think it was in British Columbia, but they were going to hold this big event. And at the event, they're going to have a bunch of speakers, which will be followed up by a moment of silence and 1 minute of rage.
Okay.
I don't know if you caught that. So it'd be a bunch of speakers, and then at the end of the speaking event, it would be followed up with a moment of silence and 1 minute of rage. And then they went right to the next segment and they didn't say anything else about that. And it caught my attention. I'm like, the fuck is a minute of rage? And why did they nonchalantly say that as if that's something that we've always done? So immediately I get on Grok and I said, hey, Grok, what the hell is a minute of rage? And Grok says, well, that's something that was started back in 2013 in Australia by an advocacy or some activist group or whatever. I said, they're on the CBC, they announced nonchalantly without actually even explaining what this minute of rage thing was. Why was it mentioned on CBC radio in this fashion? And is this the first time this has ever happened in Canada? And Grok told me, yes, in fact, at this one event that's happening in British Columbia, this is the first time that a minute of rage is to ever be introduced or used in Canada ever.
Wow.
And CBC just
so what do you do during that minute?
It.
You just scream? You just do whatever?
Yeah, so the idea is that you just rage out to the stars or to whatever, and you're raging, and you're supposed to envision in your mind the politicians and people that put it into place. Marty, this is 1984. Like, this is the 2 minutes of hate that was in 1984 has actually been personified, and they're using it. And the whole reason why it was used in 1984 was supposed to be a mind control technique to get people to get on board with INGSOC that was the English Socialist Party in the book, and get focused on where they wanted you to drive your emotional whatever at.
Yeah, everybody said that George Orwell wrote it as a warning, but then too many people took the book as a how-to, right? I mean, it is a warning, but it's all been turned into, it's okay, whatever.
So anyway, that caught my attention. I just wanted to bring it up because it's freaking crazy, but it wasn't enough to make an entire video about. Javelin Blue for $5 says, this is exactly why I wanted military weaponry for civilians in Alberta. In Alberta's new constitution, they'll do anything to keep power. What are your thoughts on that? So my interpretation of the Second Amendment, for example, is that if you read the letters that were written back and forth between Jefferson and Washington and Franklin and all these guys, they absolutely did believe that if the government can have it, the citizenry should be able to own it as well. They didn't delineate between that. That was always the thought. It was later regulators that came in and said, wow, machine guns weren't thought of by they thought of this. They had Gatling guns. They had all this stuff. What's your thoughts on military weaponry ownership?
I just want guns. I mean, do I want civilians running around in tanks? Maybe not, but I want a Second Amendment type. I want real property rights. I don't want any rules around that. I mean, guns are guns. They're just property, and I should be allowed to own them. That's all. I had 4 young guys show up to sign my petition one day, and that's one of the questions one of the kids said, "What's your thoughts on guns?" And I said, "I'm all for them." And then he's like, "Good." Then he signed the petition. I don't know. I don't know if he I don't know if he thought I was going to say I'm against him, and then he was not going to sign if I said that. But you're asking the wrong guy, man. I'm all for guns. No, I think it's one of the most brilliant examples of forward thinking of the Americans to put that in their in their amendments. It's an important one, right? It's second after free speech. It's right up there.
Well, it's there to protect free speech.
Yeah, and we wouldn't need I think we need I know Albertans right now, there are people working on a new constitution. I wouldn't overthink that one. I would just take the American Constitution and incorporate those amendments into it and make just a new document, right? I mean, that's all the amendments are. They're just things that they missed in the first pass of the Constitution. Well,
would you try to rewrite the Second Amendment?
No, I'd rewrite it into the original Constitution. Now that the Americans have had their Constitution and their amendments for 250 years, you should be able to incorporate it properly into one nice, clean document, just called the Constitution. that has those rights, that free speech and the right to not incriminate yourself and the right, like they're all there. It's brilliant. We've talked about this. I think the American Constitution, God, it was written in 1774, man. Like 74, 75, and then, you know, adopted in 1776. I mean, it is a brilliant piece.
There was a few changes.
Sure,
in the
but
last
I mean,
minute, yeah. So
yeah, but I mean, it's a brilliant piece of paper that starts with three simple, beautiful words, man.
I got a copy of it.
Yeah,
I usually keep a copy of it kicking around real close.
We the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect. That's all it needs to be. We the people. Yeah.
Well, and
not the
that's
king.
the beauty of the document. The beauty of the document is it's the people's will to allow for the formation of a government. Period.
And that the government is for the people, of the people, not you know, to rule the people.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So it's not some external being allowing government to exist over the people. It's the people allowing a government to exist in the first place. We own the government. The government is ours to dictate to, not the other way around. And that's how the thought was behind that. I absolutely love it.
And the government's sort of a necessary evil. It's not the be all end all. It's just it's a necessary piece. Because I'd personally love to be able to live without a government, but we need some sort of governance. But there's a difference between governance and government. So yeah, I wish we could govern ourselves without needing a government. But yeah, that's a brilliant piece of paper.
Well, I would add on top of that, we would never have the market economy that we have if it wasn't for courts and contracts. Courts, contracts, and policing. Those things are the most fundamental for commerce to work. Without that, it's piracy and everybody's just bonking each other with sticks. Like that's
which I'm okay with.
to a degree.
To a degree. Yeah.
Okay, so we're bringing back dueling. Marty said it here.
Maybe not dueling. Let's just go with headbutting. And then I'm gonna lose every time the Noah, big Noah, 6'7" Noah is gonna. Actually, he used to do that to me once in a while. He'd put his foot on my foot and then just push me, and there's nothing I can do. I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards.
All right. We got the Drew J for 5. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says Detremont was the one who shut down the WEF question in Parliament during the trucker protest. Yeah, I covered that a while back. That was one of the shorts I made. Do you remember that clip?
No.
So somebody called in because it was COVID era, so like people could call in and ask the Parliament questions. Like the MPs could call in, and one of the MPs called in and said, "I have a constituent in my, or a person in my constituency that's worried about the World Economic Forum and what it can mean." And then all of a sudden they're like, "We can't hear you. It's not working." And then shut it down. They shut the whole question down. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, that was one of the beauties. The government sure like that, right? Like all the holding the House of Commons through Zoom call and being able to like easily censor, quiet anybody that was not. Yeah. Oh, sorry, technical difficulty. Yeah.
That was it. I wonder if I can get that video up quickly. I found it. I'll pop this on because I made a short out of it a while back. This was ages ago, but let's pop this on the screen.
We are very proud of now that we penetrate the cabinet.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to my colleague's speech. I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name Which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda?
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay.
It's a young generation like Prime Minister Trudeau.
So yeah, that was the short that I made it a little bit more cinematic on that one. But yeah, it was Don Tremont, who's now a Liberal. He's the one over there. Where's he from? He's from New Brunswick, or
yeah, he was one of those floor crossers that was attributed to being just bitter. Yeah, because he didn't get the you don't have to be a Liberal or a member of the ruling party to be a speaker. So he was a deputy speaker. He wasn't the speaker. He was a deputy speaker. But then under the new rules, nobody could afford the Conservatives absolutely could not afford to nominate one of their own as a deputy speaker. So he got pissed off. And they say that's why he crossed the floor as a FU to Poilievre.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, who cares about your country? Have your little spats in Ottawa. Javelin Blue for 10. Thank you so much. Says I called Pierre. I told him to put plants in the Liberal government. Do the same thing in
yeah.
doing to you. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that works. Go win some primaries. That's usually how that works. Javelin Blue with another one for 2 says, this is how Trump gets created. No shits. This is how a Trump gets created. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, can you do it in Canada? Canadians just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they have a stomach for it. It's crazy. They don't like to be told. They like to have sweet little lies told to them. This is what I found. Like, yeah, I'm not talking about the speaker. Yeah, I have to say that not all the time. But like, yeah, of course, not all this audience, not all the people in Canada, like obviously the people in this audience can handle it, but Canadians just like to be told sweet little lies, just fed little lies. This is feel good. We're we've always been mistreated by the United States. It's hard for us, like all of this stuff. It's just garbage. It's garbage. US has treated us quite well for a very long time, and we haven't done that for them. All of the sweet little lies. A Trump would be great if Canadians could handle it. Just come out and tell everybody just the truth, even if it hurt. Gray Fox for $6.99. Thank you so much. He says, what will it take for either of you to leave? Hold on a second. What will it take for either of you to leave? I know a lot of people moving south out of Alberta. Carney Emergencies Act. Lost vote. Lots leaving now. Yeah, well, I'm out of here.
Yeah, you're out very soon. Yeah, no, I'm well protected here. I mean, I'm doing this for my kids. If something silly happens, then I'll just continue with my plan, which is I'll stay here for 6 months out of the year, and then I'll go live somewhere else for 6 months. But I'm retired, so I've built myself up. I have tolerance for a lot of abuse. The government can keep abusing me for a while. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm well protected.
What would it take for you to like pack up all your stuff and get out?
For a cop to show up at my door and try and steal my guns. But then I wouldn't leave. There'd be some violence.
Then we'd have to helicopter you out of here.
Yeah, no, I've already said that. I've drawn my line in the sand. I have drawn a line in the sand. I will not leave. I will draw a line in the sand, and then I will fight really ugly at some point. If it gets there, I'm willing to fight. I'm old enough. I've already apologized for my family for what I might do someday.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's a manifesto from Marty.
Yeah.
I
no, you got to have a line in the sand. I have a line in the sand. I mean, like I wasn't sure where that line is, but I have a line. I've seen others put up, like we spoke about Tamara and others. I've seen others, and we can't be cowards. I talk the talk and I got to back it up with something. So I have a line in the sand, and at some point when that line is crossed, I'm not just going to, I will stand and I will fight. I hope it never gets there. I hope it never gets there, but yeah, I will fight.
Yeah, I hope so too, Marty.
Now, actually, there is something else that could make me leave, though. There is something very pragmatic that could make me leave. If one of my kids left and started having grandkids, if one of my kids left and went to Texas and had grandkids in Texas, then I'm pretty sure Mama Bear will make me leave, and we're going to Texas to be close to the grandkids. So there's a very pragmatic reason to leave.
I got some phone calls to make after the live stream.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have you as a neighbor, Marty.
Yeah.
Tell him get on it. Javelin Boo for 2 says Pierre didn't deserve this.
Agree.
Yeah, he didn't deserve it, but
he didn't deserve it. Do we feel sorry for him? A little bit, but not so much, right? Depends on the day. Some days I go, whatever.
I honestly don't think he fought hard enough for it.
And he entered into politics. That's,
That's it. He also says, LOL, but you can give billions to Ukraine. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
120 million more today to, was it Somali or Ethiopia? Who did we give money to today? I think Somali. 100 million, just like that. Done. We have no money in the bank. We're broke. We're 60. We have, $120 million is literally only, I don't know, a couple of weeks worth of interest payment on our debt.
You know who we can give money to that I wouldn't bat an eyelash at?
I'll take it. No, I don't know.
Our vets. Our vets.
Yeah.
Instead, what's the Liberal government doing? They're taking money away from them. On the same day that they gave themselves a raise. Same day. Liberals stabbed the troops in the back. $1,000 to $1,500 a month overseas post living allowance slashed effective April 1st. That you're living over the seas and you're trying to live on that money, and then you're also trying to send some back to your family. And this is what they have to live on. This is crazy.
That's how liberals, today the liberals said, "Oh, we're cutting the fuel tax," but they're going to make it up somewhere else. You just don't know where at this point, but they're going to make it up somewhere else. They're
famous. Like Trudeau is famous for it. Like, what did he say to that vet that spoke up to him? He says,
"You're asking for more than we can afford," or whatever. Yeah,
dude, they can afford it. They can afford it. They're just giving it to their cronies. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting the way the government treats veterans. So yeah, that's where I am on that one. Where are we? Alberta for Independence for $6.99 says Alberta didn't exist when the treaties were signed, so changes are absolutely possible. That's a great point. Actually,
that's a common argument. Is like, the treaties were signed in 1860. We were annexed as a province, kicking and screaming in 1905, and then things happened after that. So we just reverse it. We just go back to the way it was in 1904. I say that all the time. We just go back. Let's just go back to the way things were in 1904. That's it. It's not complicated.
Wow, that's the best argument I've heard.
Yeah, and then we have an argument that explains that the referendum only needs to be 50% plus 1, because that's how Newfoundland joined. Newfoundland joined in 1952, and they held a referendum that was 50% plus 1, and they joined Canada. So you can completely undo it. You just reverse what they did.
Where did the argument that a majority has to be more than 50% plus 1 come from?
That's probably a political idea. That's it's not a mathematical idea, right? A mathematical majority is 50% plus 1. That's the definition.
There's no other. I've never heard that anywhere else for any other electoral process or whatever. It's 50%.
Even the concept of a super majority is sort of just a political concept. I mean, in statistics, I would never say, well, that's a super majority. There's no such thing. It's a majority is just simply means more than half. That's all.
Yeah, more than half.
A super majority means a lot more than half. Okay, sure.
There's no quantifiable, like maybe somebody could have coined it at a point, but yeah, okay, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's wow.
And
Okay.
and then look at Carney this week, right? How happy does Carney have nuances to his majority? No, zero nuances, right? Carney today will say, well, I got 173 MPs and you got 172, so I have a majority. He doesn't give a shit if it's a super majority or anything else. He's going by the absolute total 100% letter of the book. Majority is more than you. That's it.
It's not as strong as I think he would like it to be, but it's
but it's not going to slow him down.
Not going to slow him down. Not one bit. Johnny Say So for 2 says insanity. I haven't paid taxes on smokes in years.
Don't say it out loud. Hey, be good about it, Johnny. Whenever you're just word of advice, when you're done a pack of smokes, throw that pack in the garbage. Don't leave it hanging around in your car. That's all. But beyond that, I don't give a shit.
Well, that's the crazy part about it. It's like you can't prove that that's my pack of smokes. You can say
the guy even said, "This is my dad's car," right? Like, whose car is it? Could be anybody's. And the poor girl's in the back seat. Like, why are we being arrested? I'm in the back seat of the car. Oh,
welcome to Canada.
It'll be funny to follow up on that court case because that ain't going to hold up.
Oh, I doubt it'll even hit court. It's a power trip. It's freaking power trip. And that's what we were hoping on, is that Canadian police wouldn't be power trippers, but they absolutely are. Nuts. Kathy Gagne. I always Catherine Gagne. I always mispronounce words, but thank you, Catherine, for 5 said, and thank you again. Welcome back. Says during World War II, profiteers would filter the color out of the bootleg gas. Filter the color out of the bootleg gas through a loaf of bread, which was cheap and plentiful during rationing. That's really, you could do that. And that's how far back the diesel fuel
colored fuel. Yeah. I don't doubt it. It's been around for a long time.
Really, I didn't know it went back that far.
Yeah, we call it purple gas. That's what we call it. I mean, for me, it's purple.
We call
gas.
it marked diesel. That's what we call it.
Yeah. No, at the pump, like I fuel up at the United Farmers of Alberta fuel pumps at the UFA, and they got dyed diesel, they call it, and undyed, but we call it purple gas because the tax-free stuff is purple.
Okay, well, that's that. Sorry, I know we said 2 hours, Marty, but I'm trying to get through these. Catherine also for 5 says dairy milk comes from the udder. Where does almond milk come from? Don't say it, Mark. It's nut milk. But
but you know what I mean? Like she gets the joke, right? Like there's no warning label on the dairy, on the almond milk that's saying, or soy milk, like warning, this is an actual milk. So this whole idea of the Canada Food Inspection Agency coming down on that poor little brewery for making a bourbon and labeling it BURBAN, that's bullshit. Bullshit.
I don't know. Like, what if somebody did Scotch whiskey, but they just spelled it differently, and it just said like.
Well, even then, I mean, like bourbon is a trade name that you definitely want to protect in the U.S., but we're in Canada here. Like, am I going to go out of my way to protect the term bourbon or champagne here? I mean, yeah, the French are fussy. The French want to protect their word champagne, but they've trademarked it. If the French are upset that I was using the word champagne, then I'd say to the French, well, then you come over here and sue me. But that our own food inspection agency, I guess it's a reciprocity. What are they protecting from the Americans? We don't want the Americans calling their cheese whatever cheddar. I don't know. I mean,
okay, so and here's another one. It's Parmigiano Reggiano. Yeah. No one can call their cheese Parmigiano Reggiano
unless it comes from Parmesan. Yeah,
they're freaking litigious. Like they're really crazy about it because that's their bread and butter, or their slice of cheese.
Sure. So then in that case, then the authority in Parmesan can. If I was going to start calling myself Parmesan cheese, then the authorities can sue me or whoever the hell they are. But if I start calling myself
You
Parmesan
can call
cheese,
your cheese. You can call your cheese Parmesan cheese. You cannot call it Parmigiano Reggiano.
sure. But if I call it Parmesan cheese, and then all of a sudden my Canadian agency comes after me and says you can't call it Parmigiano cheese, I'm like, what do you give a shit? You're a Canadian. Like, let me, so why are Canadians enforcing the law on behalf of the Italians or the Americans? I guess we must have treaties or some reciprocity or something.
Yeah, there's treaties of reciprocity, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's actually incumbent on Parmigiano Reggiano people that own that name to go in and do that. They're extremely litigious, and it's the only one, because it's crazy. In Canada, one of the only cheeses that you can get that's out from outside of the country at every grocery store is Parmigiano Reggiano.
Sure.
Parmesan. Go to the cheese section and look at all the cheeses. You'll see cheeses that have a British flag on them that you read under it, and it's like made in Canada. It's like a British recipe made in Canada. And that's the way it works. But no, that cheese is made in Italy. So yeah, I know. I dork out on food stuff. But that's one of those things that's very trade protected. Anyway, where are we in the next one? Javelin Blue for 2 says Noah was admired by women 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches. Yeah, okay. We got you. We got it. Trish Brew jumping in with a 279 says, how dare that lady presume dead person's identity? That's right.
Yeah, the MMI, WP, whatever. Yeah.
LMNOP, QRST. Yeah.
What a shitty day that was. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Just mock it, and that's where that ends. I don't know how to read that. Can you read that?
Dirt McFerguson. That's Dirt. We've had Dirt many
Dirt
times.
McFerguson. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's just the at name for that. For 5, he says, pretty sure NDP ran out of affinity cards. So this says, so individuals went to Staples for construction paper to make their own in the colors they wanted.
Some girl standing at the podium looked like she had like 4 cards, right? A yellow one, an orange one, a pink one. Like it started as only yellow at their last convention like 2-3 years ago, and then now they went to. I know there was 3 colors. There was definitely orange, pink, and yellow. Definitely.
Oh well, they'll just keep complicating it. I think it's hilarious. I think they should just keep doing what you're doing, folks. I really hope you keep doing what you're doing, because it's waking up real people to how stupid that shit is. Anyway, thanks, Dirt McFerguson. And Church of Hertz jumping in for 2 says, dumbing down your people is being a king of fools. Yeah. I actually talked about this recently. I was speaking with my mom. Because what was it? I can't remember what I heard, and it pissed me off. It actually got me angry. It was another one of these stupid, like, it was like a scientific breakthrough was happening, but somebody stepped in and was like, yes, but CO2 and atmosphere and whatever. And it's like, okay, I look back to the time of Galileo and the discoveries that he made. And yes, there was this orthodoxy that was brought together by the church, and people would say like, oh, that's why religion's bad. And it's like, yeah, maybe not religion per se, but the church was bad and the orthodoxy of the church was bad. But we just have a different church today, and they have a different religion, and their religion is the state and whatever and all this BS that we all have to deal with the orthodoxy of that. And it pisses me off because I've always been a scientific guy. Like, I've always loved science and popular mechanics and new discoveries and all that stuff. But as long as we have this bullshit where we believe that CO2 is a driving factor of climate change, or changing, the changing of ocean temperatures and atmospheric temperatures, which the data does not suggest, and we ignore the data that we don't like, and we only accept the data that we do like because it follows the narrative. This is what we call a dark age, and we're in a dark age when it comes to scientific discovery, and we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be, because we've never had so much information at our fingertips readily available. We should be excelling leaps and bounds beyond any civilization in our past. And we're not, because of freaking idiots. And we're just appeasing retards is what we're doing over and over and over again. And people that believe in some stupid orthodoxy because they won't challenge the narratives of contemporary today because they're worried about them damn selves. That's really what it is.
I deal with that all the time. I dealt with it more during COVID than I do now, but I had lots of people accuse me of all sorts of things. So the most common one was to try and criticize me for being an anti-vaxxer and calling me anti-science. And I always repeated to people, I have a degree on the wall. My degree on the wall says Bachelor of Applied Science. And I've told people my entire life is about science. And for me, follow the science is not a motto, it's a way of life. But I got dispelled because I wouldn't follow the orthodoxy or the dogma. And I'm like, that you're literally non-scientific. The scientific principle, the cornerstone of the scientific principle is to challenge everything. Everything. There's nothing that's not challenged in the science. I mean, scientists are
to defend it. If you have some orthodoxy that you want to continue, you have to defend it.
You have to defend it, and
not with sophistry and barriers and walls put up. You have to defend it against scrutiny every day.
Yeah, and if you have a theory and I propose and I do one experiment that doesn't that goes against your theory is flawed and you have to start again. So as climate change is an example, if somebody says CO2, higher concentrations of CO2 cause higher temperature, and I go, okay, here's a core sample of ice from 4 million years ago that shows that CO2 was higher, but the Earth's temperature was lower. As soon as I presented that one core sample, your theory is fucked. It's done.
Out the window, yeah.
Out the window, and it's like, go back to the drawing board and try again. But nope, you're you're preaching to the converted. I mean, yes,
absolutely. I was just expressing my frustration with the whole thing. So that's where I was.
No, it wasn't. Not just a model for me. I even started writing science with the $sign in front because I think that was valid. It is what people are doing nowadays. It's not science. It's $sign ions. It's like
yeah. It's you
follow
can
the
only
money.
only get your papers published if you at the end of your paper say, and this is why climate change, blah blah blah, like bullshit.
Yeah,
I get it. We've got real Andy Ross. Well, thank you so much for the $2. He says, hit the like button. Awesome. Really appreciate that. Peter from Edmonton for $5. Thank you so much, Peter. Says, hey, Marty, I was glad to bump into you and your wife on Saturday. Thanks again for sacrificing your time for independence.
Yeah, he stopped by. He stopped by the petition signing. Well, you know Peter, right? I mean, what does the sign mean there? He's helping you as a...
he's a moderator. He's a moderator of the channel.
Yeah, he was on his way. He came down from Edmonton to go visit Jack, and he brought
that's awesome. Yeah,
he brought
Jack
a computer.
Yeah,
he brought Jack a new computer. Stopped by and said hi. Yeah, hi, Peter.
Yeah, Peter's also a friend. I chat with him all the time. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We got how do you say that? Rune. Why? I'm not like something gaming for $10. I'm terrible with that. Thank you so much. He says, as a Gen Xer, I've never been clear on why we don't lean into our relationship with the US. We were a great nation. Instead, we chose to take the spirit of the falling British Empire.
We didn't choose to take it. That's all they would give us, because the Americans fought the British and fought hard and gained their independence that way. And once the British king saw what was happening in the U.S., the British king said, ooh,
we can't let that happen ever.
Can't let that happen again. Let me give the Canadians something. And he gave us something that's flawed and that's gamed against us. And we were all happy. We're like, oh, he's so majestic. He let us have our own sovereignty. He never did. He never did.
No.
So no. There's the approach to freedom is very different between the Americans and Canadians for that reason. Totally. Yeah.
I would even argue that the Iranians got close with the Shah, and then the British moved in and sponsored the mullahs to take over.
Yeah.
Because they were not having another occupied region breaking out and becoming independent like the Americans did. Forget that. They don't want that. They want to keep control on things. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. We've got Dwight McIntyre for 5 says, no freedom of religion in Alberta Constitution. Not all religions are compatible.
Not my decision. I mean, that's something we're gonna have an interesting time in Alberta in the coming months. Now we're going to start talking about a constitutional conference of what the country looks like.
Mm-hmm.
At my core, I mean, you and I are on the same page on this, right? We're libertarians, so it's like kind of like the live and let live. I mean, I struggle with that one a little bit. I agree that not all religions are compatible, but that's a necessary, you know, my live and let live is probably going to win out over the limits on religion, I would say.
Well, I think not
and
all
I'm not a
cultures-
religious person also. I'm not a religious person, so
not all cultures are compatible either, though. Like,
right.
I can, you know, I haven't been a very religious person my whole life. I did grow up in a Christian family, and they had very strong Christian values. And I think that, you know, being not very religious my whole life lent I mean, like what I was doing didn't lean to anything, but living in a Christian society, a society built by Christians, lent for me being able to just do as I please. I'll tell you what, if I lived in a society that was built by Muslims, never would have been the case. So I think there are things that are incompatible with our way
now
of life.
We're running out of time because like I said, I have family here. This would have been a great time to bring in Tiana's rant, which we cannot play. Folks, go find Truth Seekers rant on whatever platform you watch her, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or X or Instagram, and that's a beauty. She spilled it out hard on there's a bit of culture in there too. Some people in Europe were being critical of her and attacking her on her DMs and the things like that, so she decided to unleash. So yes,
boy did she ever. She says some words that
and she's basically saying that too, that not all cultures are compatible, and that some people are letting themselves be maybe a little bit too bending too hard to one particular culture. Go watch it. I mean, we can't play it here. I think you'll be
I'll get in trouble.
You'll get a strike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I was solo on Rumble right now, I would absolutely play it, but I can't do it right now. So
we'll have her on the show, right? We'll definitely do a show where we'll bring
I had her on the other week and it was like a hit. It was a huge hit. But yeah, I'll have her on with you as well. That would be fun. Okay, we got Dobberton for 5 says, Marty and Clyde, what do you think about the Irish protest actually working and spreading into France?
Conor McGregor for president, and I love the whole
big support. Big support.
We were going to talk about it today. We wanted to. We ran out. There'll be more developments on it. Let's try and talk about it more next week. I think that would be a good topic for next week, hopefully.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, and I was talking to a filmmaker that's going to be doing a film on this in the future this week, and a theme that came up was, you know, the Freedom Convoy in Canada was
You're
kind
talking
of the
to
big...
Sergio is who you were
talking
to.
I was, yeah. So the theme was the Freedom Convoy was this big massive event, and I brought up that, like, you know, it was the last hurrah of the Canadian identity. That's really the case. It was a last hurrah, and afterwards it was like, that's dead. Canada needs to break off and do something else. But it was also a moment worldwide where everybody woke up to, holy crap, our governments are tyrannical and awful. And
we went right back to sleep, though.
Canadians went back to sleep. Canadians went back to sleep, but the rest of the world didn't. And that was the beauty of it. We saw what happened in the Netherlands. We saw what's happening in Ireland. We saw what happened in Sri Lanka. We saw what's happened in a lot of places around the world. Germany in their elections recently, Argentina, a ton.
Yeah.
So I think that the Canadian truckers have been an inspiration. And though Canadians went right back to sleep, the Canadian truckers, it was a moment in time that can never be erased. It will be in 3,000 years. They'll be talking about it like they talk about Leonidas and the Spartans. You know, this is something that happened and it inspired the world. So,
which is the next comment, Leonidas and the Xerxes is the next one. Yeah. It's sad that we went back to sleep. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What timing. The real Andy Ross for 5 says, yeah, what's that? Molon Labe, or come and take it then, said the Spartan King Leonidas to Xerxes. Whoa, I didn't even read that ahead of time, but I went into that. That's crazy. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting how that happens. Yeah, that is actually what happened. Yeah, come and take it then. So come and take it. That's what you're saying, Marty. Come and take it. That's kind of your line in the sand. We've got Jimmy McMeat, Jimmy Meat Whistle. Names are hilarious. For 5, he's got a boar. All right, Jimmy Meat Whistle. Thank you so much for the 5. He says, "Did you guys hear? Carney said he would invoke the Emergencies Act if Alberta tries to separate." Yeah, we got into that.
We'll see about that. Yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening. I don't see him not.
Maybe
doing
I'll
that.
find a way to ask Jeff about it a little bit more. See how he heard it or what the context was. I mean,
get Jeff in on the show one night. Tell him.
Like we said, we don't doubt Jeff heard it. It'd be interesting to hear a bit more about the context. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, and we got one last one from James Duggan, 141 says, for 5, he says, "The challenge to anyone claiming to follow the science is to ask their definition of what is science."
Yeah. And I usually get challenged by somebody who barely made it through grade 12 or whatever. Like, don't. It's not even worth having a debate. Like,
well, sometimes barely getting through grade 12 is better off than actually having like the full credentials of a university degree in Canada. Sometimes that indoctrination really sets you at odds.
But I mean, with, my general criticism is there are a lot of people who think they're smarter than they actually are, right? And then some of those people, they come to you. I'll tell you a quick story, right? Sitting on the side of the road about a month ago collecting signatures, some guy pulls up and he's obviously he wants to come and just bitch, right? And so he pulls up and I walk up to his window and the guy is having a hard time. So he rolls down the window and he rolls down his window and I'm still standing there on the passenger side. Then he rolls down the back door window and then that one. Finally, he figures out which window to roll down so he can talk to me. And he right away he starts into a tirade like, "You guys are idiots and independent Alberta, blah, blah, blah. And what are you going to do about this or whatever?" And I looked at him. I'm like, dude, you can't even figure out which freaking button rolls down the window and you're going to lecture me on economics? Fuck off. Like, like.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. If you're going to, or it's like the people, you ever had this on X? You ever had somebody like correct your grammar and then they make a mistake in correcting your grammar?
Yes. It happens a lot. I love
it's like,
that.
Bravo. Good job.
Little secret.
Yeah.
If you post something with incorrect grammar in it, you get a lot of engagement because people will correct your grammar and it'll boost your post.
Yeah. Oh, that's I don't think it's called Godwin's Law. It might be Godwin's Law. There's a law.
No, Godwin's Law is like whoever claims that you're a Nazi first.
Oh, no. Okay. There is a law on the internet that says that you get more engagement by posting something that's false than you do by posting something that's correct. Like, right. Just make an accidental mistake. Make an accidental mistake, right? Just say, there was. We haven't had a majority government from floor crossing in 23 years. If it's been 24 years, you're going to get corrected over and over and over. And
But
then
they'll promote your post. That's the
Totally,
whole thing.
100%.
It promotes your post and then it gets it out there. So yeah, there are little techniques to getting your voice heard a little more than others. And we engage in these. It's the game.
Not that we do that on purpose, folks, but I do make I make a lot of mistakes, and I don't correct mistakes anymore, and I don't care. And if somebody corrects my mistakes, I'm like, thank you, grammar Nazi. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know the difference between you are and yours, and I know all those things, man.
There and there. Yeah. Half the time when I'm doing posts, I do it voice to text.
Yeah.
Right? So like if there's a grammatical error, it's just like whatever. I don't care. It went through, and that's how it went.
Yeah.
So that's it. Anyway, ladies and gents,
really, we went through the question. Oh, that's okay. Cool.
Well, you said let's not go too far.
No, I don't want. I got so my in-laws are coming back. Just came back from Costa Rica, and they leave their truck parked here. They live up north, but they come here, park their truck here for the winter, fly out of Calgary instead of flying in Edmonton. So they're back. We picked them up at the airport, and they're spending the day today, and then they'll be leaving tomorrow. They're dead tired, but I just want to go chat with them anyway. So
absolutely. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you again next week. And also join in on Friday. We're going to have a couple of special guests on Friday. I'm not going to make the announcement. We'll just do it. And you'll love it. Don't worry. You'll absolutely love it. So tune in. We'll see you Friday night. Good night, everybody.
Folks. Good night.